So we'll see where he's at with that. Come on, go live. Come on, come on, come on.
It says it is.
All right, come on. Come on, go live. Here we go. All right, Instagram's coming on. There we are. All righty, tidy, tidy. So, all right, and it's Tuesday. I'm with one of my best friends, and got to do this little invite here, followers, and everyone. And a lot of our everyone's are in Las Vegas. Bowling tonight, isn't it? Is tonight bowling?
No, I thought that was
That
Sunday.
last night?
Heck, I can't remember.
Yeah, whatever. Cool. So it's Tuesday, and we get to go and play with the whole idea of Testosterone Tuesday, kind of make some fun out of it and that kind of thing. And so I'm George. I'm known as the Metabolic Grandpa. And Keith, I don't know. Do you have a handle, or are you just a happy, shiny guy, like that light bulb behind you?
Metabolic Keith,
Metabolic
or Comeback Keith, or Comeback Keith on TikTok.
Keith. Good. I like it. I like it. All right. So we're going to go through a bunch of things talking about testosterone. And, our bodies are like an emergency alarm. That's the cortisol, fight or flight. And here comes Big John. John's coming on. There, look at that handsome man. He's growing hair. He's trying to be like the big boy here.
He's doing something up there.
And look at that. He's even got curls. What the fly?
Because I haven't really got a haircut yet.
Oh, I just had one today. So, it's like.
I was planning on getting one last week on Wednesday. But
but you decided,
that didn't work out so
you decided to take a kind of weekend off and kind of just lay around for a few days, right? And be waited on. Be waited on, right?
Like the Sultan of Texas.
You could look at it that way, being waited on. I wouldn't get all waited on, but hitting the call button and I'll be there in a minute.
Right.
All righty. So here's one thing. When the alarm is ringing all day because of stress and your body thinks that there's a lion chasing you, it stops making that growth and power, right? That fuel, that testosterone, because it's too busy trying to survive. And you can't build a house when it's on fire and the alarm's going off, right? I mean, we're going the opposite way. But here's the deal. Keith, John, talk about the time when you were tired but wired. When did you notice that you were tired but you were wired? Kind of the same kind of thing.
Gosh, I would have to say when I was having trouble sleeping. I mean, I was tired, physically tired, and I could lay down in bed, but the minute I laid down, it was, I couldn't. It's not that I didn't want to sleep. I couldn't sleep. It was just my mind kept me up all night long.
And then going to the bathroom.
Yeah. And then, of course, every 2 hours running to the bathroom kind of got old. But
and John, what about you? When did you notice you were tired but wired?
Basically the same thing that Keith just said. I don't know how many times I get home from work, change out of my uniform and all that, sit over here in the recliner, and then within an hour or two, I'm asleep. I'm knocked out. I'm da-da-da-da. And then my wife, she'll tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, it's time to go to bed. And I wake up and I'm like, okay, let's go to bed. And I go lay in bed and can't fall asleep. Sit there and dome scroll. Yeah, dome scroll.
What about when you were actually working? When you were working, did you have, were you tired and wired at the same time?
Yeah, if I was in the vehicle driving with people, if I was driving, I was fine. Not a problem. But if I was the passenger, I was out. No matter how hard I tried, I had a big 5-pound bag of Myconics every time I went anywhere because, back then it was got to have the sugar to keep up the metabolism, keep me awake, get the energy, not realizing what it was really doing. But the thing is I can eat that whole 5-pound bag and I still crash. I still go to sleep.
And Keith, what about when you were working? Did you notice that kind of thing?
I could slam a 24-ounce Mountain Dew and literally tilt my head back and fall asleep. I mean, it was like John said, it's amazing what we put our bodies through and had no idea.
Now,
of
now, have you noticed that? I noticed this the other day. Think about that. All the people that buy those cans of drinks, and you see them coming. They carry 2 or 3 or 4 of them for the day.
mhm.
Is there a possibility that there's an addiction there? I mean, do you think they could walk away with it? I mean,
Mine
just
was
cold
and
turkey?
mine was 4 to 6 almost every day.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
When I was really hardcore in those, it was 2 a day no matter what. And then some days 3, some days 4, but 2 for sure. But the thing is like a lot of people don't understand. The 2 that I used to buy, I bought them on sale because I got the Rockstar Hydrations because it's supposed to be healthier. Yeah, it's healthier, but not. It's still just bad. But the thing is I got 2 for like $4 and something odd cents a
Mhm.
day. And that's a lot more expensive than this stuff is, and this stuff works better. Just saying.
Yeah, mine were 3 for, I forget the exact, 3 for $4, and
Yeah.
boy, I'm not going to buy just 2. I'll get 3. It's
I'm
cheaper,
gonna get that.
and you
And you
end up
get the
drinking
extra
it
points and
anyway.
all that, right? Well,
Yeah,
then
but
here's the question. Was your battery ever actually loaded, or is it just a spark and a crash? I mean, how did it work for you? I mean, did you have an hour between them? Did you get
Oh,
done with one and start the next? How did that work?
I sipped on it all day long, literally. I don't think there was probably a half an hour between
yep.
finishing one and getting one. Usually I would finish one as I'm passing the garbage can to get the second one. It would be toss the old one away. And but yeah, it was nothing for me to put them down.
Wow. And then see, this is why we have signal. And because it's it's like high grade wiring for our body's battery. Most men are dehydrated, just like you just said, at the cellular level. We never think about it from people, we don't think about it that way.
Well,
We're just like, oh, I crave, I need, right?
can I touch on something about that
Yeah,
dehydration?
absolutely.
See, a lot of people, think, oh, I'm good on hydration because, I drink a gallon. I drink 2 gallons of water a day. Okay, cool. That's great. But the thing is your bloodstream may be hydrated, but your cells aren't because there's so much insulin resistance. The insulin's not letting the moisture, the nutrients, and all that get into the cell. So you could be down in all those. You could be down in all those energy drinks too. And with the vitamins and all that, all you're doing is peeing them out.
Like pouring water on a balloon.
Yep. It's just,
I love that one. It
and
was just
I
like on the
never
top of your head, right there.
see. I never put 2 and 2 together until I started learning more about our metabolic health with insulin and all that. And once I started learning insulin, oh man, the light bulbs.
It is.
Right.
All
It is.
all those years of like, oh man, I thought I was doing this right. I thought I was doing this right. And like,
Keith,
no.
what do you like about the signal? How do you relate to the signal? You love the
Oh,
signal. I know you do.
yeah, I love the signal. I mean, I grew up on Hawaiian Punch and Dr. Pepper and all that, with my grandpa always sat in the little store, the only store in town, and we'd sit down there and have sodas. And but the signal, it it intensifies, I think, what the tea itself does. It just gives, if I start feeling slumpish, I've had plenty of signal where it just kind of puts you back in that state of clarity, and the joint pain is totally gone. The leg cramps, it was nothing for me to wake up with my foot locked in a position and a leg locked in a position and have to jump out of bed and stand on it and force your foot to go flat just to get the muscle to relax. And that, which then you're walking around the house to get it to calm down before you could even attempt to lay back down.
And you were doing that with your foot, standing on your foot to flatten it down, right?
Yes, yeah.
With
Sometimes
how
it would
many
it
how
would
many 100 pounds?
I was just pretty much 300 pounds.
I would have been your foot, and I'd go, no problem, I'm flat.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd stand up, and I would literally have to force it to
Really.
get it to flatten out. And then of course you hobble for the next 5 minutes while it's relaxing. But yeah, it was not a good deal. But I definitely know I've noticed a big difference if I don't take one during the day, and most days I take 1 to 2. I'll notice it if I don't have it.
And see, and I used to
Yeah.
get those like at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So if I
Yeah.
actually did fall asleep, that woke me up.
Oh yes, it does. Right now.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about fatty liver and metabolism. Let's look at it like a clogged filter. So if you think about it like a filter in the car, you know, the oil filter, you know, pay me now, pay me later. Now, if you put too much sugar sludge in the tank, the filter gets really sticky. Now, you never put sugar in a gas tank because that blows the whole thing up too, right? I mean, that's a whole other problem. But wait a minute, just think about it like that. You wouldn't put sugar in the gas tank, but when the filters clog the whole engine, your metabolism, right? The metabolism slows down and your engine starts smoking. Do you remember having a spare tire that you couldn't lose no matter how many sit-ups you did?
Only for like 25 years.
Yeah. Mine was more like 30 years. I weigh less now, George, than I did when I was 15.
No, really, yesterday and
My
tomorrow.
original driver's license said 220 on it.
Yeah. When I started senior year of high school, 1996, when the season started for football, I weighed at 237 pounds. That was the lowest I ever remember being. And even then at 237, I still had a 38, 40-inch waist. And now 230, if I'm heavy, I run between 220 and 230 on average now.
Right.
And I squeeze into a 32. I found that out by mistake the other day because I grabbed a pair of pants, thought they were mine off the table, and put them on. They're a little tight. And I'm like, man, did I put some weight on or something? I found out it's actually my son's pants. They're 32s.
Now, truth be known,
So-
you're how tall, John?
6'3".
6'3". Keith, you're
6 foot.
yeah. See, and that we got to put that in perspective because I got up to some of your lower weights, but I am like 5'9".
Right.
Right.
So I mean, in terms of perspective, so really weight isn't I mean, it's a deal, and that's what everybody thinks about, right?
Right.
But that's not the deal, is it?
No, not at all.
See,
Yeah,
since doing,
I
go
had
ahead.
no clue. Had no clue at all. I mean, I spent my early 20s, I was training to be a power lifter. So we were eating nonstop
Yep.
but we were also working out 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. And
Yeah, and see, like, yeah, I did the same thing. You know, I was eating 10 to 15,000 calories when I was doing football and powerlifting because, you know, we're taught by the strength coaches, taught by the coaches, you know, you got to be big, you got to be strong, you got to have that, you know, quick energy, you got to have all that. The thing that I didn't realize though was, yeah, I was eating, I could put food away. Yeah, I was big and strong, but I wasn't realizing I was plugging up my liver. I was plugging up my filtration system for my body. And it's not something that happens quick. It takes time.
And
So,
while you
yeah.
guys were doing that, building that, I was coaching. And
Right.
I'm just beating the crap out of these kids. I mean, they're swimming
Give them the same
tens of
advice.
thousands of yards and meters a day and sit-ups and runs and that kind of thing. And I'm 24 hours. I'm recruiting around the world, so my sleep thing's way off. And every day I played racquetball. So I would lose. This was part of my metabolic mess up, is that I would lose weight Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday till about noon. Okay,
Yeah.
coaching. And then it was weekend, and now I'm recruiting and entertaining at a
Yep.
collegiate level. So by the time I was back in on Monday morning, I gained 10 pounds on the weekend. So down, and then boom, it goes up. I mean, just that's. And I went in high school. You guys went. I went from 124, 128 pounds in graduating in May to 180 by December of that year in college. There's a freshman 10. Oh, hell, those are rookies. I mean, come on. I packed on 60.
Just thinking about that, George. August of 96, when I weighed in for football, 237 when I started the season. By the time I graduated that next May, I was up to 320 pounds. I didn't put two and two together. Never did.
Nobody
not even
does,
once.
Nobody
Not
does.
even once. I mean, yeah, I was lifting 3-4 hours a day. I was eating tons of calories. And granted, I was playing ball, so I'm doing the wind sprints, I'm doing all that, but I'm not a runner. And 40 yards, not a problem. But you want to farther than 40 yards? Good luck. I ain't doing it. But I never put two and two together. I just thought, I'm just getting big and strong. I didn't realize I was building my metabolic dysfunction.
Right. And so that's what I liked about racquetball. Racquetball, I don't got to run. I got to take 2 steps and dive, get back up. I mean, you don't have to chase the ball across the street. You just go in the room and you just play ball.
I pictured you as a badminton man.
Yeah, and I got to play ball with a couple guys that were at the Super Bowl. The Bears, Hilgenberg and Boards. I played racquetball, cutthroat with those guys. And here's this little coach diving between them because the ball's not supposed to bounce twice. And I'm going like,
I was thinking more along the ping pong being a Filipino.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, there you go. No, it should be the yo-yo, Filipino yo-yo, right? But the whole deal is no. Racquetball. That's my favorite. That was my go-to, because then you go in and in an hour, you're done. And you've just played crazy. But go back to the sludge and the liver and the oil. What about the Unamate? What about our tea? What does that do? And what do you think about how that works in terms of burning the sludge and things? Guys, what's your insight on that?
It stops you from adding that sludge to the tank from the get-go. I used to wake up, as I'm sure both you know, I would hit McDonald's. I'd wake up, I was up at 6, meds and out the door, McDonald's by 6:45, and that stopped, almost literally immediately. When I started taking it, I thought it was going to be a heck of a lot worse than it was to kick that. But if you're not dumping sugar in the tank, it just took off. I mean,
great. And John, what's your thought there?
Yeah.
Are you asking more on
the liver,
on the scientific side, or more of what we've noticed on how it improved?
Both. John, you are the man of this. You are a student.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because, like what Keith is mentioning is more his personal side, what his experience is. But a lot of people don't think about, okay, what's the scientific aspect of it? Because the Unamate, it's got theobromine, it's got chlorogenic acid, it's got what is it else? Mate saponins, polyphenols, natural caffeine. And, a lot of people don't realize that the polyphenols help lower your LDL, help lower your cholesterol, help lower your triglycerides and all that. And so when you start lowering all that stuff down, that means your blood is getting healthier. Yep. You're filtering the sludge out. So that's the reason why your blood pressure comes down too, because you're getting that sludge out of there. So you're not getting that vasoconstriction. You're not getting all that kind of wonderful stuff that they say is all because of salt, but it's not. But, this stuff you don't learn unless you dive into it and look into it, because it's we're taught
exactly.
To
and now you're talking. Now you cross the barrier into plumbing. I love that segue. Look how smart you are. You're just so fast. So we're going to talk about the plumbing issue. So our blood vessels are like garden hoses, and it's garden time season, right? I mean, you guys always have garden season. Now you're both Florida and Texas, but up here In Illinois, it's just actually getting started. But anyway, to work right, you need that hose to be flexible. You need it to be wide. And high sugar makes those hoses kind of crunchy and narrow. Now, if water, blood, can't get through the hose, the sprinklers don't work. Code. So it's not a hardware problem. It's a pressure problem. Let's talk about the comeback system, the 3-step process. What about the moment? When did you realize that your health was returning because your circulation was improving?
The first week in September last year, when after finding out my blood pressure was 200 over 100 and having to be taken off my blood pressure meds. Actually, it was probably a little bit before that where she started taking me off a couple of them, but I was still on one till the very end. But yeah, I mean, when I went to try and work out in May, I went to a gym. They tested my blood pressure, and the guy looked at me and goes, does your cardiologist, is she okay with this? And I went, I don't know, my therapist told me that I needed this. And he goes, oh, okay. So they set up a workout routine where I didn't pick up anything heavier than 10 pounds. And it's like, well, okay, this is nifty. And I didn't put together until I got off the blood pressure meds where I noticed substantial gains in how much I could lift and not be lightheaded or it. So yeah, about 3 months in all truthfulness.
And John?
Mine was probably about within the first month. My blood pressure didn't really change much. In the first month, I was still high. I was still like 200 over 120 on average. What I did notice though was when I was 212 over 120 on average, my heart rate was like 110, 120, even though I wasn't doing really hard physical hard physical exercise. I noticed my blood pressure was still high, but within that first month, my heart rate started dropping. I was getting like 80 and 90 beats a minute, not 100, 110. So yeah, it was slowly improving. But like my blood pressure though, it like Keith, by 3 months, that's when I started seeing the big changes in my blood pressure. But within that first month though is when I noticed my heart rate started dropping because of my watch me and all that. I never put 2 and 2 together.
And it improves with the signal, right? And it improves with the signal too then.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, because the beetroot that's in that signal.
The magnesium and the
I love that signal because the beetroot helps produce NO2, and you need nitric oxide.
Yeah.
You need it.
And then when we throw in the balance, the fibers like guardrails, and it for our health and helps us that circulation return and be improved, and that's really helps that flow, doesn't it? I mean, people don't think about it, but if you think about it and you look at now, I'm starting to see ads. I'm starting to see ads for some other commercial bennies and meadows, and when you look at it, they stir it out. It looks like Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
It looks like Tang, and I'm sorry, I'm not an insult. Okay, so I used to drink Tang because
I loved Tang when I grew up.
Oh, it was because the astronauts were drinking it, so it had to be good, right?
That's right.
But you stir it up, and it's like, what's that gonna do? It's like
husk. Yeah, it's like drinking orange Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Without the sugar.
Yeah. There you go. All right. So, guys, you're getting older, and you're young bucks, and
am I getting older? I mean, everybody I talk to says I keep looking younger.
Older. You look younger, but I mean, you guys are 20 years younger than me. Let's face it, right? But we do chronologically move right along. But as men get older, the body tells us it's time to recycle our own muscles to save energy. But if you don't give the body a reason to keep using muscles, and building muscles, they disappear. That sarcopenia. There, I got to use a big word today. I'm so excited.
So proud of you, George.
I know, like I had that one. I got to use this word sarcopenia, all right? But when the
Give 'em the golf
muscles
clap.
disappear,
Golf clap.
it tells
Golf
your
clap.
body that the there you go, thank you. That but we're still building, and I'm building muscles back at 74. So, guys, tell us the difference between the strength and your recovery versus what it was like years ago. Is it easier? Is it slower? Is it faster? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, I really can't give you a good example because, I've been on this protocol now, 15, 16 months, and I haven't stepped foot in the gym. And I'm putting muscle back on. I mean, I've gained like an inch or two on my biceps since doing this. And I haven't done anything besides my normal everyday life. I haven't been to the gym. I don't work out here at the house. I just do yard work. That's it. And even then, it's half time I don't do yard work because my foot's acting up in the blood blisters or whatever.
Sure.
But hopefully that's taken care of now. But anyways, I haven't stepped foot in the gym. I would love to. I'd love to go back and see what it can do because I'd love to see that whole muscle memory. Because I've been told muscle memory was a big factor, and yeah, I would love to get my size back. I'd love to get that strength back.
Sure.
But at the same time, I've been told, the older you get, the less you lose. Well, I used to believe it until I started doing this.
Yep.
So,
Nikki, what about you? What are you noticing?
My recovery time, I think I told you this. I just probably 2 weeks ago now, shoveled 2 tons of gravel
What?
off of the street in front of my brother's house continuously for about 4 hours. And I felt myself getting stiff that night, and I thought, oh, tomorrow's gonna suck. And I went, I got home, I slept, I woke up expecting to be sore, and I sprung out of bed, and I'm like, this is kind of nice.
Wasn't there a time when you couldn't even do that kind of activity?
Yeah.
Keith deserves something here. Mic drop for Keith.
I mean, there was a year ago, I couldn't even do that. I was in a wheelchair. And if I wasn't in the wheelchair, I was in a walker.
Correct.
Putzing along, needing help. And now, for argument's sake, 8 months later, and I stood there and shoveled nonstop, and it was river rocks. So it was good size rocks. There was a pretty good pile in the front of his house. And my recovery time,
that was 4,000 pounds. Dude,
yeah,
it doesn't matter how big they are. It can be 4,000 pounds of pea gravel, still 4,000.
And there's a second load will be showing up as soon as he gets the front of his house ready for rock.
Wow. So let me ask you guys, talking about that and building muscle, Stronghold isn't just creatine. It's got leucine and HMB, and it's a foreman on the job site telling your body to keep every ounce of muscle you've earned.
Sure.
What do you guys are you using Stronghold? Are you using everyday protein? What you guys is taking either one or both of those?
I love the everyday protein. I mean, I'm because of the powerlifting and the football and all that, I was always looking for extra protein sources, trying to get the extra protein. And then, I used to drink the what are they called? Those core protein shakes or whatever. You can buy that. Oh, they got 26 grams or 40 grams. It's just protein milk. I used to buy those all the time, getting that extra protein, not realizing that it spiked my glucose, spiked my insulin, all that. So the everyday protein that we have through our company, I love 4 ingredients. How can you find a good protein source with just 4 ingredients unless it's an animal-based protein like steak? For being a whey protein powder, that is ideal.
Well, tell me, you guys, talk to me about it because I've got it. I haven't taken it yet.
I haven't used it yet either. John would be better
the
at
everyday
that.
protein.
Why haven't you taken it? Why haven't you started?
Hey.
I just got it. Now, when you do when you do it plain, do how do you use it? How do you use the everyday protein?
Everyday protein. If you're fasting, it will break your fast. It's 100
Okay,
calories.
don't care.
It's 1 scoop to 20. I did mine. Yeah, 1 scoop for every 10 ounces of water. I did 20 ounces, so I did 2 scoops. But the thing is it'll break your fast.
Okay,
Plain and simple. So if you're fasting, don't take it. If you've already broke your fast, I mix it up and I'd have it with my dinner. Even
okay.
though I had the steak dinner or if it's just a salad with some protein, I had it with my dinner too to get that extra protein.
Okay. Now, do you do that? Where do you put the stronghold with the everyday protein? Does that sit outside of it? Where's that? Where do you guys play with that?
I mix the stronghold with my balance.
Okay.
So that way, even if I don't have the everyday protein, at least get the stronghold and the balance because the balance helps the glucose absorption, where the stronghold helps the glucose control, kind of forces it more into the muscles.
And we've got a video interview with Dr. Bickman on that, don't we?
Mhm.
Could
We do
you
somewhere.
send that to me? Could one of you guys send that to me? Because I want to review that again if you can
I
find
think
it.
I think I might have it. If not, I'll find it.
All right, great. Yeah,
It
because
was the interview with Rav and him. So yeah, we should.
Yeah, I'm sure we can
Yeah.
find it.
if we can find that, be good. So now, Keith, you're using the stronghold. When are you placing that? Where are you using that at?
I usually drink it about 1 in the afternoon. About that break, like John said, about that breaking fast time of day. I try and limit my eating between 2 and 6.
Mhm.
And so I'll drink it. And when I was hitting the gym religiously, I would have it right before I went to the gym. And
Okay.
that way I worked out always in a fasted state. And then I would eat closer to, 6 at night. So there was a couple hours in between. And it seemed to help me quite a bit.
Okay. So let's tie this in. We're just with garden hose. So if you got a garden hose, you need to have a garden, right? So our gut's kind of like a massive garden, right? I mean, it has all these. Whoever thought about billions
Yeah,
of
if I remember,
bacteria?
there's like what 3 trillion or something like
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's
something
just
like
like
that.
just insane number of things running around in our gut that we really never ever thought about. I mean, did you ever think about it before we started learning about this, especially
No,
Dr. Dieter's calls and those others, right?
nope,
But it's
never even thought about it.
and so if you think about a garden, there's two things. You've got the things you want, the food, the plants, and that, and then you've got the weeds,
Yeah,
right? And they just seem to always be there, those little buggers,
I was
literally
really good
buggers.
at growing weeds.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the deal. In our gut, we've got both. We've got good bacteria and bad bacteria. And what most people do, and what we were doing, admittedly, unbeknowingly, is that we were feeding those little bad guys with food designed to make us want to eat more. At the same time, it fed the bad guys more, and they outnumbered the good guys. And then we get goofy things with our gut. I mean, how do you guys look at did you ever notice anything on your gut before what's the difference between your garden before the protocol, before the 3-step process, before the comeback plan? What was your gut before, your garden before, and what's it like now?
a garden before, if you want to put it that way, was overran by H. pylori. A lot of people like Helicobacter pylori is what it's actually called, but it's a bacteria in your gut that's known to cause infections, cause ulcers, cause all this other kind of stuff. And when it's overgrown, that's when you start having all of the problems. And that last week I was in the hospital. A guy next to me was actually having stomach problems, and he tested high on H. pylori. And the doctor straight up told him, "Oh, because your gut got infected by H. pylori. It's not supposed to be there." So I'm thinking to myself, dude, tell him the truth, or does the doctor not know the truth? Because H. pylori is part of the bacterium in your gut. You got to have that balance, otherwise it grows out enormous, or you don't want that overgrown. That's the reason why you have the gut problems and all that. I'm sure there's other ones in there besides it, but that's the major one that causes a lot of the issues. So I didn't realize that what I was eating was causing it, was helping them grow, helping them thrive.
Yep.
And then the other problem too is with today's modern food environment, are our vegetables and all that, fruits and all that, are they nutrient dense like they were 50 years ago or 70 years ago? They're not. So that's the other thing. So you can eat all the food fiber and the vegetables and all that you want. You're not getting as much nutrients out of like you used to 50 years ago. So
And for me, George, I didn't realize, like John had mentioned, I had no clue until I started learning
mhm.
what was causing my Guillain-Barré, my mild IBS, until you start stacking up enough on one side, and then somebody comes along and says, "Hey, what if it's this?" And you're like, "Well, what you talking about, Willis?" And you start listening, and I mean, it. I was, as you both know, I was in pretty rough shape, and I never thought, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I kind of attested to like Bluto and Popeye. Bluto's beating up on Popeye till you feed
Right.
Popeye, then Popeye takes over, and but
Popeye takes that
it's
spinach and all of a sudden,
I never put two and two together that everything I was, as it
yeah.
was progressing, everything I was experiencing was all linked to the exact same thing.
Yeah, and when we start looking at it too, if you look at it carrying the garden analogy, what happens is those weeds, the bad bacteria, start overgrowing the good and start strangling the plants that we're trying to grow.
Yep.
And we never talked about it. No one ever discussed the idea that how it affected what? Our moods, our attitudes, our
Very.
energy. So let's talk about that for half a second.
Well, before we go into that, George, I just wanted to say something. If you're watching this and you've ever heard of Guillain-Barré, just think of it as polio. Same symptom as
Yeah.
polio, but you're supposed to re-eradicated it. But yeah. Anyways, on to the second gut, second bane, mood disorders, all that. I was, I did 10 years in law enforcement under corrections. The last 7 of it was doing prisoner transports and all that. And doing the prisoner transports, we were doing mental warrants also. So, we're had to learn a lot about mental health because we're driving people around. They're in a mental crisis, mental stasis. And I never put 2 and 2 together that was linked. I didn't know the dementia and Alzheimer's is basically type 3 diabetes. That's what it's called. In other countries, they call it type 3 diabetes. I don't know why we do it here because it's what it is, but we don't for some reason. But I never put 2 and 2 together, even though I was transporting people in a mental stasis that was having the worst time of their life because they couldn't see the picture coming because the disease was taking their mental stasis away. And even though I was type 2 diabetic for 25 years, I didn't realize that mine was going like it was. I couldn't see it, even though I dealt with it, even though I did mental health training for my job, I still couldn't see the pictures until I started doing this and then getting my health back, getting my hormones balanced, getting that clarity to come back. And then that's like, holy crap, my eyes were open and I can make the connection and see that. And, I'm a protector at heart. That's just who I am. I always will be. But it made me really regretful and remorse for doing law enforcement for the last 10 years because I was an angry person. I was an ornery person, even though I felt like I was being respectful and kind, but I really wasn't.
Right.
But it wasn't really me talking. That was more this because I'm starving my brain, not getting the fuel it needs because my body can't produce what it needs because your brain needs cholesterol. And I didn't realize lowering my cholesterol was causing my problem.
Yeah. And like John said, I always thought I was a fairly happy person, and everybody, I can't really say it on here what they told me I looked like, but with a resting face, you can fill in the middle word. But, and until I started, and I'd been forgetting stuff for years. Walk into a room and, oh gosh, why the heck did I come in here? And you like John said, you just don't put two and two together. You think, okay, I forgot something, no big deal.
Yeah.
But as it progresses, it gets worse and worse. And I had no idea just how miserable I was. I mean, I knew I wasn't happy. I wasn't the happiest person on the planet, obviously, with everything I had going on. But I had no idea just how deep into that rabbit hole I had gone. There were days I would get up, I didn't want to leave the house, didn't even want to open up the blinds, didn't want just I could just lay here and watch TV all day and be just honky dory.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm trapped in the house for too long, I get antsy and I want to go do something.
There you go.
And it's very incredible to watch that go from depression level here, happy level here, to that role reversal where the depression goes the wayside. Now you actually enjoy doing things and being around other people and making people laugh and care, and helping people. It's very refreshing.
And one of the
It is.
greatest joys that both of you have is you have grandkids now.
Yes.
Both of you now, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, just think about what it would have been like if this hadn't come along.
I wouldn't be here talking to you right now, George. I know where I'd be.
Yeah, we know for a fact where he'd be because he actually did pass away from this, and they brought him back. He was clinically dead for almost a minute, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they brought him back. So
I was this
we know
close.
we know
Never.
exactly where Keith would have been.
Yeah.
Myself, I wasn't that bad yet, but I was close.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the sepsis developing in me. My wife did. I had that grayish tint to my skin. I didn't see it.
Oh, you got chalky? You started getting chalky?
Mm-hmm.
He was walking down the road. I was running.
Right. And so, I couldn't see it. And if I really think if I wouldn't have started this in January of 25 like I did, I would have been passed away either at the end of February or the first part of March of 2025. And, like the thing like we mentioned earlier about the depression and all that, because of what I was doing in law enforcement, dealing with the people's trauma, dealing with people's bad times, I saw a lot of bad things. Now, granted, I may not have seen a lot of bad things like the street officers see, because I'm not walking into a very traumatic situation, but I did see some stuff between people that try to unalive themselves in the jail, or ones that were successful and ones that weren't. But the thing is also dealing with these people in mental stasis, and then me trying to change the correction from being a correction into a street officer in the middle of academy and get my very first photos and have to drop out of the academy. When that happened, it really hit me hard as a man, easiest way to put it. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like I couldn't support my family. I couldn't do what I needed to be for my family. And because my gut health was so gone, the depression, I suffered from depression for years. I just never took medications for it because, one, I couldn't afford it. Didn't want to either. But it got worse. And then, losing the mental stasis, and then that really felt like, as in a rock and a hard place, I took my 40 cal in my bedroom and had it ready to go with a hollow point in my mouth. Ready to end everything. No care in the world. And I didn't put two and two together that was part of the issue. The only reason I didn't was, thank God, I was bawling in tears, and something made me realize what was going on. And a good friend of mine from high school happened to text me at that time and just say, "Hey, how you doing, friend?" That's all I needed. If that text when it came in, I probably would have pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And then my wonderful grandson here wouldn't have his grandfather
Yep.
because his other grandfather died, unfortunately, 15 years ago in a car accident.
Yeah.
So this little guy here would never even met one of his grandfathers, at least,
Right.
if I would have been successful in that.
I get
And
that.
I never put two and two together on how that affects your mental
Yeah,
status
really,
and
I
depression.
truly do, because for me it wasn't that. It was I could see bridge buttresses.
Yeah.
I could see bridge buttresses. So anyway, so yeah. So one thing that came to mind this week is on brain fog. And sometimes we say people are losing their memory. Just a thought, and we'll talk about maybe this next week, is that maybe the memory's not lost. They're just not connected. It's
The
over
file
here. The
cabinet's
memory's over
locked.
here. There's the library, but their
Yeah.
energy connection to get it on the ramp is not working.
Right.
So we'll kind of talk about that next time. But here's a couple real quick questions, and throw out a comment, and we'll just kind of rapid fire these. So, how about a 60-second explanation of the cortisol and the teeter totter? One goes up, one goes down, like this. John?
Well, cortisol increases because your stress levels, lack of sleep, fight or flight, you name it. And people don't realize the whole fight or flight thing. They think it's because you're in an emergency state or that. No, it's actually just your body stressing out. So you're not giving the proper nutrition. You're not getting enough sleep. You're freaking out over things that you have no control over, but yet you're freaking out over it because you can't think clear. You can't. And every time that happens, you're just spiking your fight or flight sense. Basically, you're spiking your cortisol.
All right.
And I mean, your cortisol's high. What happens? Your insulin runs rampant. You name it.
Yep.
All right. Keith, explain why you can't fix your hormones until you fix your metabolism.
Because your metabolism runs your hormones. Or you can't fix your hormones because we're so overloading them all the time that they can no longer function properly. And without fixing that, once you fix your metabolism to where you're not eating 24/7, 365, you're not giving it that rest to start your hormones
But
coming
here's the
back
thing.
to.
Here's the thing on that too. Gentlemen, you're taking TRT. Ladies, you're taking HRT because your testosterones are high, or I mean, not high, too low, and all that. A lot of people think, oh, I just take these and it'll increase my testosterone and it'll balance out. No, it won't balance out because you're getting your levels back up. But the thing is, if you can't get insulin under control, because insulin is your King Kong hormone, it runs everything. If you can't get that balanced, taking all those extra supplements or shots or whatever you want to do, it ain't going to make no difference.
Yeah, they're basically useless.
Yep.
Okay, for both of you, what would you give as an inspirational thought to some male that's frustrated with their energy, with their testosterone, their blood pressure, their hair's falling out, they got skin tags, they're just lost in a fog? What would you guys give as guidance?
I would simply say, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, not talking to you, George, but when's enough? When are you going to stop surviving and start thriving? I mean, both John and I were under managed care for 25 years. And at no point in that 25 years did I ever think. I mean, originally, probably the first few years, I thought, okay, this it's gonna fix it. And as it drug on and on and on, I had come to terms with this isn't gonna fix anything. And now I've reclaimed that where I am gonna be around. You know, you don't have to live like that. There's light at the end of the tunnel. You're not driving into a mountain with no exit in sight. Now you see it, and now you know it's there.
Yep, perfect. All right, so closing, John, what do you have for us today?
Well,
Closing thoughts, John.
for this protocol, before doing this, I was taking TRT shots for a little bit. That cost me $75 a month just for TRT, for the insurance and all that, for my out of pocket. I had to stop taking them because at that time was when I was first dealing with a foot ulcer. So I got a PICC line put in my arm, ended up getting a blood clot in my arm because of the PICC line. Now my doctor was like, no, it's the TRT shot doing it's causing it, because the TRT thickens your blood supposedly. But I thought it was kind of ironic how the blood clot was right specifically where the PICC line was, because it was hanging halfway out. I'm like, dude, I can pull it out. But the thing is, between insurance costs going up for medications, between trying to buy whatever I need to for my diabetes that's not covered by insurance and all this, in all reality, it cost me more to be sick than it cost me to be healthy on this protocol.
Yep.
Yeah, this protocol cost me $160 a month. But the thing is it's reversed all my ailments. It's the only thing I'm still dealing with technically today is my neuropathy. My neuropathy hasn't gone away, but it's improving every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed as my cholesterol levels getting higher, my doctor's freaking out about that because your cholesterol is getting high. I've noticed my cholesterol is even higher. My neuropathy is improving, even though my cholesterol is getting higher. Well, why is that? Because your myelin sheath around your nerves is made out of fat and cholesterol. Hello. So yeah, all the elements I've dealt with over the last 25 years, it's sad to say, has been linked to insulin resistance. And you don't talk to your doctors about it because they're not taught that information. And if they do know that information, odds are they're not working standard practice. They're probably some holistic doctor working private sector. And even then, they know a little bit about it, but they don't know everything about it unless they listen to like Dr. Bickman or Mindy Pels or Jason Fong. So if you're on the verge of this, you got nothing to lose except for your own health. That's the only thing you got to lose is your own health.
Yep. And if you wear slip-on shoes because you can't bend over to tie your waist, if you're wearing sweatpants or pajama pants because you don't have a belt big enough, if you're behind a grocery cart and people behind you can't see the cart, if you're wearing sweatshirts because you can't find buttons, there might be a chance that you might want to have a discussion with my buddies here, John and Keith. Guys, they are the best. They know their stuff. They are experts because we've lived it. We have literally lived it. And if you really want to feel better, get a hold of one of us. And we'll share our stories. We'll teach you. We have the tools. We have the team. We'll plug you in. You won't be by yourself. We've got a system that works. It's proven. It's patented. It's got to get it. What if it wouldn't work for you like it would work for John or for Keith or me or maybe the other million people that are currently, it's working for them. No, you may be the outlier. It might not work for you. And we have found the people that the system does not work for, they don't open the box.
If you use it consistently and correctly, it will not fail you.
In fact, we want you to do your own blood work. We want you to do blood work. Yes, John.
And the other thing too, I hear from a lot of people, I'll just take a GLP-1 shot, or I'll just take some peptides because the peptides are healthy and natural. Here's the thing. The GLP-1 shot first came back in the late 90s. Dr. Benjamin Bickman was one of the first laboratories to study them. And even back then, he's like, don't do it. And he still says the same thing today. Don't do it. There's a good reason. Now, the peptides, they're marketed as natural. They're marketed as this. But the thing is, there's still another synthetic version of whatever they're using them for. Like semaglutide, all that kind of. Right. And that's the beauty about the natural protocol we do. The GLP-1's a natural hormone produced in your intestines. A lot of the other ones that the peptides help produce, stimulate, is actually another natural hormone that your body produces. This helps stimulate your body producing your own version of that. So there's no side effects.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I love you. It's to the top of the hour.
We don't have another call. We're good.
But I love working with you guys. You're just a godsend to my life and all the people's lives that you're impacting and helping. And if you want to be part of our team, then reach out to one of us. We'd love to have you get on the mission with us because we're about saving lives, changing and saving lives. John.
And another thing, not one of us are doctors. Not one of us are chiropractors, surgeons. We're not nutritionists. We're not dietitians. We're just everyday guys who look into our own health, learned about our own problems, and figured out how to fix it with a natural solution.
Yep.
So keep that in mind.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. Guys, I'll chat with you later. Have a good night.
Have a good one, brother.
There he is.
Did you get a bath?